So look, man, I wanted to kind of pinpoint on something that Federer said, and I want to kind of put that, the conversation that kind of flows naturally to this next part. He talked about wanting to make some sexier picks, about being more athletic, being more explosive, and a person that I wanted to mention is none other than Hopkins, baby. Clemson alumni. That's right, damn it. So we've been a lot of news now that Black Monday has come and gone. Uh, but sources are saying that the Arizona Cardinals plan to try and trade All-Pro wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins this offseason. D Hop has 2 years and $34.36 million left on his contract, and he is likely to seek a new deal. Owner Bidwell plans to express this to GM candidates. DeAndre Hopkins secured a no trade clause in his last extension and would have to approve a final destination if it gets done. Expect Newt to be one of the most sought after players off season. Boys, how do we feel about a receiving core consisting of DeAndre Hopkins, DJ Moore, and Terrace Marshall Jr.?
I mean, you can leave Terrence Marshall Jr. kind of out of that conversation. I'm just excited about the other two. I mean, TMJ is not even anywhere close to those two guys at level now. I'm not saying he can't get there, but those two alone excite me. I would love that.
Yes, definitely. Tony, did you remember before I was even on the show full time when I was still calling into the cat calls? I wanted Sammy Watkins to be on the Panthers so fucking bad, dude. I've wanted him to be Cam's number one wide receiver. I've always wanted to have a Clemson number one wide receiver because I'm biased, man. But dude, DeAndre Hopkins, imagine the options that the Panthers would have available to us with DeAndre Hopkins on the field. Dude, that would be incredible, man. I know it's expensive, and it even goes against my own philosophy a little bit of paying a lot of money for, more than one wide receiver. But man, dude, as someone who really thinks that Matt Corral could be a good quarterback in the future, having two elite options downfield, no matter who the quarterback is, one, if you bring one in, if you go with Corral, whatever, man, having two dynamic receiving threats, I think would be incredible. And I think that Federer kind of hinted at that when he talked about wanting to get fast and explosive and kind of upgrade the sexier positions on the football. If Suleiman and Federer are for some reason able to continue to, free up some dollars for us,
A bazillion.
I would absolutely love this,
Bro, they have
man.
$1 million. Number one, you had it like this. Maybe not only is all right. CK, go. Please bring reason to this before I go. My head explodes.
I just can't. Number one, we're already talking about the cap, and I just don't know that a splashy choice in a guy like DeAndre Hopkins makes us a better team right now. You know what I mean?
Splashy only because he went to Clemson for Cody. That's the only reason. Right. Look, is
DeAndre Hopkins? He's not one of the best receivers in the NFL.
Good.
He's
good.
Yeah.
No, he's very, very good. He is among the top, but also got popped for PEDs, missed 6 games. But I don't know the circumstances. So you could do it. Could be anything. You could have taken an aspirin for all I know.
How old
Here's
is
the thing: 30-something years old, no quarterback. Right? Like, yeah. Like, I mean, I understand. Like, I mean, this is DeAndre Hopkins needs to go to a team that is ready for a player that can contribute and make a difference. Dude, no. And here, who cares about his fucking age? Who cares about the money? Now you have to trade for him too?
Yeah.
And we haven't got a quarterback? Sorry.
Let me
stop going about this. Stick to your roots, Cody.
I don't think it could happen.
Cody, stick to your roots. You are going now. You went from a person that didn't want to ever allocate any money for a running back to now trying to pay Deontay Foreman and Mary Chuba Hubbard.
No, I don't want to pay Dude,
and then now you want to trade for DeAndre Hopkins when we have no quarterback?
Yeah, we
give him a new contract?
We do have a quarterback. His name is Matt Corral. Don't be disrespectful. Oh, by the way, Matt Corral got the screws out of his foot, baby. Let's go. My boy's healing up. But, dude, look.
Super Bowl bound, bro.
I'm just saying, dude, okay, we was talking about the start of this year with DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. Like, that was a hell of a 1-2 punch.
This is Madden talk, though, bro.
It's just not.
This is Madden talk. Yeah,
DeAndre Hopkins.
This is Madden talk.
Absolutely one of the best wide receivers in the NFL. And you cannot tell me that we wouldn't have a much better offense with that guy on the other side of DJ Moore.
Not what I said at all.
Who are you? Hear what you said. I'm telling you that this is one of the most potent offenses in the NFL. If you get DeAndre Hopkins, dude, that's all we need.
I think
you might be a woman.
I think if you're
how about this? You're my bitch tonight. How about that? You're my woman.
If you think that we're going to be willing to give the capital that Arizona is going to try to get for him, I think that's going to be we're not going to be the fuck them picks type of team right now. Like we don't have. We have.
It goes for.
I think we should trade for Robbie.
No, CK and Greg. How much do you think that he would? How much do you think reasonably they would ask for DeAndre Hopkins?
They want a first at least, I'm guessing.
Oh,
I mean, they're gonna. I don't think they're gonna. I think they could see asking for what they got, what the Raiders paid for Devontae Adams.
They ain't gonna get no first.
I don't think it's
I don't think they'll get a first.
Too old for that. They might get a third.
How old is Adams?
I bet you they get a third for him.
Other thing, but also another thing.
But it's the money, and this is I don't care about any of that. You're talking about giving up assets, also paying money that you don't have for some situation where, yes, on paper you're better. The money too on top of that, and it's sunk into a player who's in the sunset of his career.
What if
we're not really? I mean, might as well. You know what? Might as well trade for Brandon Cooks then.
But what
right? It's like I don't want to trade for players who are sunsetting and we're not even
about
good.
Talent levels that are vastly different from one another.
No.
And what if Tony? What if you traded for DeAndre? Because I don't think this is realistic either. When Cody asked me, I meant more like I would love that, but I don't think it's possible. What if you traded for DeAndre, where the big issue was that Arizona covers most of his salary for his last 2 years?
I don't
play 1 year, then negotiate.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if it really works like that now.
But also,
you think they would want to do that?
If I'm being real,
wouldn't they rather trade him to someone who didn't do that?
The deal with the
Wouldn't they rather trade him to say like Dallas, or trade him to somewhere that was actually close?
Well,
like, why would you be a team where you traded DeAndre Hopkins and took and gave the other person the better deal everywhere, when someone else would actually trade more for you?
I think that you could offset the balance of it with what type of draft pick. Like we were just talking about first round. I don't think he's worth a first round either. But what if you offered a first round for taking some of that salary? Use that as leverage. You know what I mean?
But let me tell you,
I wouldn't even give a third. I would give a third for him.
Let me tell you why I don't think it's going to be that much. The fact that you're going to have to pay him, meaning, hey, we're not going to come off with a big time set of draft picks that we're going to send you. Give him a third and a
and then what? You're going to get him for 6 months? You're gonna get him for 6 months. You're not gonna pay him next year.
Pay him a 2 or 3 year contract.
You're silly. You've been listening. You're
that kind of offense. You're not gonna tell me that our offense doesn't become nightmare fuel, especially if we get
Sam Darnold, DJ Moore, Deontay Foreman, and Terrace Marshall Jr. and DeAndre Hopkins decimating the NFL straight to the Super Bowl, right, Cody?
I just worry that you would have to give up assets, and then you're talking about having to potentially cut people, ask people to. I just don't know that type of move sets people back. Like, I mean, you think about the Adams trade to the Raiders, right? That didn't where he looked good as a Raider. That didn't move the needle for them. They weren't competitive in any capacity. And now
he's the best in the biz, bro. He's the best in the biz. There ain't nobody better than him.
And they have Josh Jacobs as the top 5.
Dude,
I wouldn't say they weren't competitive. They lost like 6 games by a total of like 9 points.
You're the
woman.
Just like,
you're the one acting like a woman with the underhanded remarks. Oh, he's the best receiver in the NFL.
No,
look at the stats. Look at the stats. DeAndre Hopkins has been a top 5 receiver in the NFL since he stepped into the league, son.
So if we were in the backyard,
I'm taking Justin.
If we were,
I'm sorry.
Okay, great. All right. So I think that's a new argument.
That is, if you trade for DeAndre Hopkins, that's instantly one of the best receivers that the Panthers have ever had.
But if you don't have a quarterback that can throw it to him, what difference does it make?
This is a straw man. He's a straw man argument, dude. You are a man who
the numbers are on my side.
Sleight of hand. Listen to this. Nope. No, you just went from this. Side. You continue to say, "Oh, well, we would be better if we had DeAndre Hopkins. Oh, he would be the best receiver we ever had." You just went and tried to pivot. Listen, you just tried to pivot from this. Is that he's better than Davante Adams?
Yeah, I take him over Davante, and they're both good.
You're stupid. If we were in the backyard,
what does Davante do that DeAndre Hopkins doesn't? Literally, what?
The only player.
I would say have more yards and more touchdowns.
Straw man arguments, dude. Your arguments are
so you're saying if we were in the backyard right now and you had choose, I pick first, you pick first. There's only 2 people. You're gonna pick DeAndre Hopkins over Adams.
Fuck, crazy. 10 times out of 10.
That's the dumbest shit I've ever heard, bro.
He has one of the best.
I might have to kick him off the podcast for this. That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard.
What's better? What's better about
the stupidest thing I ever heard?
That's dumb.
What does Davante Adams do that DeAndre Hopkins doesn't do? What? You can't name one thing. What does Adams do that Hopkins doesn't or can't? Not a fucking thing, right? Yeah, I know. DeAndre Hopkins is a top 5 receiver in the NFL. I mean, come on, dude.
Let's see. Look, DeAndre Hopkins, we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 seasons, 11,000 yards, 71 touchdowns. We're looking at Davante Adams, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
That was Hopkins or Adams?
That was Hopkins. Adams has 9 seasons, 9,500 yards, and 87 touchdowns. So he has 2 less seasons and more touchdowns, but less passing yards, less receiving yards. He has 16 more touchdowns than DeAndre Hopkins does in 2 less seasons.
You're stupid. You know what? I've supported a lot of things.
2,000 more yards and he's played 2 more years. You know,
I have supported a lot of shit on your.
Aaron Rodgers as his quarterback, the easiest shit in the world. Come on, dude! Like that was his number one option.
Who DeAndre Hopkins have? Don't blow by it. Who DeAndre Hopkins have as quarterback?
Yeah.
The greatest quarterback in the world. The greatest quarterback in the world.
If you have a good quarterback, these types of receivers elevate that talent.
You're also just looking at them on their careers, like as a whole. I'm trying to tell you now, if we were in the backyard right now and you picked older ass DeAndre Hopkins, then you know what? Take him. I mean, that's what I'm. Because they might be the greatest. We're not comparing people of all time either. We're talking about trading for DeAndre Hopkins, who's in the twilight of his career. I'm not talking about. It's in the twilight of his career.
It's only a 2-year difference. They're both 6'1". They're both 250.
Yes,
okay, but guess what? I would rather have DeAndre Hopkins 2 years ago than I would next year.
And that's the only reason I take Justin Jefferson over both of them right now is simply because of age. Simply because of age.
Yeah,
I think that those guys are Justin Jefferson level.
Can we go on to the next topic? Because remember this.
Because you're tired of getting your ass whooped. I know.
Don't I know it?
Too tired of me smacking you around.
Nah,
Dude, and
man,
by the way, let the record.
You're
The
so
record show.
Clemson,
Tony
ridiculous.
Dunn failed to name one thing that Devontae Adams is better at than
Right now?
DeAndre Hopkins.
Oh,
That's
yeah,
not bad.
being
Yeah, name
younger.
one thing.
Not one thing
Name
is
one
being
thing.
younger.
By
Oh,
far.
it's 2 years younger. Okay.
Playing a
That's
whole
a great
season.
Touchdown
How about
catches.
that?
He has
That's one
16
other
less
one.
in 2 more years playing.
Oh, Lord.
He has 16
All
less
right, let's
touchdowns
move
in 2
on.
more years
I
playing.
fucking man, why we don't want to? We might as well just go get T.O. Let's go get Terrell Owens.
He wants somebody to sign him.
All right, we're moving on.
I'd rather have
Tony's
him.
ass.
And cover me for a half second, please, because I hate you so much.
Because I beat your ass in fucking debates all the time, dude. It's all right. I know you're upset. So of course Tony goes away at one of the funner conversations we're gonna have. That's fine, dude. We don't even need them. I want to ask because I know people are gonna feel a lot like this. If we're talking quarterbacks for next season, and I'll start with CK and Greg, and I want the chat room's input too. Would you rather have Sam Darnold next year on a cheap contract that's affordable and can be stomached by the Carolina Panthers, or would you rather give up a number of first-round picks, probably 3 of them, and sign one of the richest contracts in the NFL to go and trade for Lamar Jackson? Boys, what would you rather do? And chat, let me hear it. Come on.
Go ahead, CK. You can have this one start off.
I don't want to sign a guy because you'd have to trade. Not only just sign him, you'd have to trade because they will franchise tag him, meaning Lamar Jackson. And so we're gonna have to trade for that if we're gonna end up getting that. And then we're gonna have to pay him on top of that. So we're gonna have to give away assets and get Lamar. And now my issue that I'm running into is my mind is like I'm starting to become concerned when it comes to the mobile quarterback and the athletic guy who's going to be running half of the the amount of snaps that they drop back. And the only reason I say that is, what did Lamar Jackson when he came into the league? Everybody was like, "Oh, you're going to have injuries," and he's like, Lamar did some things that I felt like was almost disrespectful to guys like Cam and guys like Mike Vick and RG3. He's like, I know how to play football. I'm not going to get hurt, right? Like I know how not to take a hit. I'm like, you don't think every other person in the NFL has ever thought that as well? And now he's hurt, and he's potentially not going to be there for one of the biggest games of his team's season. And so I'm concerned about that. I'm concerned about the pain. So I don't think I'd go the route of Lamar. To be honest with you.
I'm actually going to back you up on this one, CK. I'm right there with you. It's not that I don't like Lamar and I'd love to have him for the talent, but you are going to have to sign him to be the highest paid NFL quarterback of all time if you want him. And I believe that if you're going to sign a guy like that, it needs to be a guy that you've drafted and brought up into that situation. He needs to earn that in the franchise before you pay him. Not saying Lamar hasn't earned that. He hasn't earned Carolina giving him that. Like, I need a guy to be drafted or come in and do some stuff for me before I'm willing to make him the highest paid player in the history of the NFL. So,
one of the reasons why I'm bringing this up is because today it was reported, big news, that the Ravens agreed in principle with Roquan Smith to be the highest paid linebacker at his position in the NFL with a 5-year, $100 deal, $45 million fully guaranteed, and $60 million in total guarantees. Huge. The first off the ball linebacker to get $20 million per year. Roquan represented himself. Shout out to Roquan. What this in itself got people speculating. Much for a linebacker. Do they have Lamar in their future plans? And by the way, you see the Panther Photoshop up there. People are already talking about go get Lamar, trade the farm for him. But a lot of people feel a lot of trepidation about Lamar. Like what CK just said, he's missed the past few weeks. They thought that he wasn't going to be hurt for as long as he has been. And dude, he missed the final stretch, and they were a bad team without Lamar. But there's always been this that if you give Lamar Jackson a lot of talented weapons at the receiver position and just give him a better offense, that Lamar Jackson would be that kind of person. So if I'm being real, and I know people are going to think this is blasphemous, but just because of the differences in the contracts and what you're going to pay them and how much and for how long and the number of first-round draft picks you're going to give up, yeah, weirdly enough, I'd say I'd prefer Sam to be back another year than to trade every asset that we've ever owned for Lamar Jackson.
Do you trade for him, though? Honestly, I mean, is it why? Because they're going to franchise him?
They're going to franchise tag him. And you missed it. They just paid Roquan Smith. It kind of feels like they might not even.
That was only $45 million guaranteed. Think about that. 5 year. 5 years, 45 though. That's less than 10 a year guaranteed.
I mean, still,
incredible
man,
money. You're talking about Lamar's going to get 45 that first year. He's going to get 45 every year. Think about what Russell's getting. I would say this is like I would pay Lamar whatever he wants right now if he can come here.
But now, hold on. Okay. How do we do that though? You were just talking about us being in salary cap hell. If you paid Lamar $300 million, dude, then you're in salary cap hell for the next.
No, other years. Than I wouldn't. I mean, like you. I don't think you're. I'm just arguably saying this is like that's what he. Like I think he would be worth every dollar.
Yeah, he's definitely worth it. But
how about this? Is I would rather have. Think about what Cody was ready to give up for Deshaun Watson.
Yeah,
18 months ago. How about this? Is I think Lamar better than Deshaun Watson. A, B, no baggage. 3, I would pay him whatever he wants. It's the money that's not the problem. I'm not trying to trade the future away for, you know what I'm saying? Like look what happened to Russell Wilson, Deshaun Watson. I'm not right. Russell's it's like that's the problem. The money is not the problem. I would say that like if he was on our team right now, I would say pay him whatever. I don't think Baltimore should let him walk.
They won't.
I agree. I don't think
they should. That's all I'm saying.
If you're the Ravens, though, and you've a franchise tag on them, you know that you're in line to not only not pay Lamar that money, but you're gonna get 3 first-round picks in return.
No, if you franchise tag him, here's what you're gonna do: is number one, you're never gonna extend him.
So you won't extend him then after.
No, like once you franchise tag him here, I think that's Baltimore. And if I was Lamar, I would say this is all right. You tag me. This is the last year I'm ever a Raven.
Yeah,
I'm sorry. Like if no, yes, right. That's what I'm saying. Is that if the Ravens tag him, it's not like they're gonna. Next year, we're going to get one more year out of him. They better give him the deal before the ink is dry.
Yeah, I agree.
And at the same time, I don't know if other teams, I think if they do that, I think they're going to back themselves into it because they're not going to get as much. Think about that. Wouldn't you just say this is, why would you give the farm?
What if Chicago
to the Ravens? You almost should say this is sit out, Mo. Sit out, bro. Sit out, bro. We got you.
What if Chicago traded the number 1 pick to Baltimore for Lamar Jackson? Or Chicago to Lamar Jackson. You know
they have so much money. I would do that. If I was them, I would do that.
Take Lamar Jackson with all that money.
Justin Fields.
Yeah, or do a
hold on. Wait. Let's not get too far ahead because that actually is what we have next on the docket.
Oh, my bad.
But,
I didn't
realize. That was brilliant, Greg.
It's a different kind of trade. So real quick, let me get every guy on the panel real quick. CK, a short contract with Sam or
You cut out.
Or what? You cut out. What'd you say? Short contract with Sam or
a
what?
short contract for Sam Darnold or giving up everything for Lamar Jackson?
Short contract with Sam.
We also have to get your mic fixed, bro.
Can it be no contract with Sam and don't take Lamar Jackson? Or does it have to be one of the
Say no, it's one or the other.
CK, did you just say that with a straight face?
What, the Sam?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're not just talking about getting you're not talking about just getting Sam Darn or getting Lamar Jackson on a guaranteed contract. You're talking about giving away picks for him as well. If you're
How about this? What if you gave away less picks than the Browns did?
You wouldn't be able to.
No, think about it. But say you so you think it's going to be the minimum?
No,
you think that's the asking price?
That's when you look at what Russell Wilson got, their team was worse. What the Browns got, their teams was worse. And I think everybody can agree.
But you don't think that makes some buyers kind of remorse?
No, it makes them realize that Lamar Jackson is worth those guys, if not more.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah, it don't matter what the buyer wants; it's the seller who sets the price.
Okay.
You know,
he's not wrong. I
agree. I understand what you're saying.
I'm on that side. And Greg, did you say Sam or Lamar?
I said Sam too, for almost the same reasons that CK is. I just can't. I don't, like I said, I don't think he's not worth it, or he's not a guy that's talented enough to be there. I just can't. I can't cripple the franchise.
Do
the
you
guy
feel
I pay
like
that money to needs to be a guy that we brought up?
Let me ask you a question. Do you do any? And I'm not saying that this is going to be the same scenario, but even if Russell Wilson had been okay, that he was far from the biggest issue on that entire squad, right? Do you feel? And same thing with the Browns. Do you feel like their organizations are better or worse after what they did?
Which
was the other one? It was Wilson
and the Broncos.
The Bills and the Broncos.
The Browns and the
Broncos. No, I honestly don't. I don't think that based on what I saw at least this year that they're better off than they could be in the future. But this year, no. The Browns finished about what they normally did, about 7 wins, like the last few seasons with Baker. And the Seahawks, or not Seahawks, the Broncos were kind of a joke, like they've been the last few years. No, nothing improved.
I don't think they're good comparisons.
I don't think.
You know why? This is why I don't think they're good comparisons. Is Russell? The question now we're having is he washed, right? Like I mean, like that's like is all of a sudden is so is like is Lamar and like is Russell Wilson 5 years ago is a different thing than now, and Lamar is 25 or something. I mean, so yeah.
Well, you're talking
the other
about,
thing is
Watson and Russell, right? That's what we're comparing, right?
No, we're talking about this. We're talking about Lamar, Watson, and Russell Wilson. So he's asking this is basically did Russell Wilson make the Broncos better or worse this year? And they had to give up 3 picks or whatever. It was a lot. Did Watson make the Browns better or worse this year? They had to give up 3 picks. Guess what? Both of those teams regressed with both of those quarterbacks, right? And arguably, is Watson was a bigger problem than anything. The Browns got worse. My point is this, is that I know what you're saying, CK, is in like the trading away, trying to get the big quarterback or something like that. But I don't know if Russell Wilson's a good comparison to Lamar because he's old. And then Deshaun, he would have been a good comparison to Lamar had he not had the fucking shroud of karma and the stain of all of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, he's like, Lamar is the pristine, clean, young. I mean, he's 26. It's not Russell.
Can you tell me, how about this? When is the last time a star was traded for multiple first-round picks and given a great contract and their team was better in the long run?
Matthew Stafford.
In the long run. I know that got them that contract. I mean, got them that Super Bowl, but this is we are not the Rams. We aren't even close to the Rams.
I don't know. Maybe it doesn't happen. Maybe it doesn't happen. I don't know. Has it ever happened?
I don't know that it has. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm not prepared
Drew Brees.
I'm not prepared to.
Oh, that's a good one, Greg.
Drew Brees.
That's a good one.
Big
but they
trade.
didn't trade.
But they didn't give him
for
money right away. His shoulder
Peyton
was
Manning?
jacked up. They were worried about
Peyton
it.
Manning
What,
was a
Denver?
release. They picked him up off of as a free agent.
Really? Denver
Tom
just
Brady-
straight
Tom
picked
Brady?
him up?
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady was
Nah,
the free agent.
free
Yep.
agent.
That's true. He wasn't traded yet.
Ooh, who
You
is
might be right, man. Now that I think about it, I can't think of a lot of trades.
There haven't been too many big time quarterback trades because most of the time the team that drafts them is the one that pays them if they're that good.
Right.
You know,
That's
and
the way
they
it
keep
should
them
be.
for as long as they can.
That's the way it should
So I mean, look, I'm
Clearly,
going,
it's Sam Darnold.
yeah. I mean, I'm going Sam
Clearly.
Darnold because I'm not giving up that many picks and paying that much.
I didn't
of a
mean Sam
contract
Darnold
for
was
Lamar
going with.
Jackson.
I was saying he was the last
He's
trade
next
that.
big guy. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I'm saying I under that scenario, I
Alright.
would rather go with
We
Sam.
got- can we
I'm
get
not
to these-
saying Sam is better, but I'm going with Sam under those circumstances more than I am with
Give me
Lamar.
Lamar. This is bullshit,
hold
bro.
up.
No.
What are
no.
you willing to give up for Lamar, Tony?
I got an
Screw
answer
this.
I got an
Is
answer for
Cody
you.
came so hard over Trevor Lawrence
God.
trading the whole draft, and he came so hard about Deshaun Watson. Do you remember how hard he came after us trading? You were harder than Deshaun Watson at a massage parlor for Deshaun Watson.
What's your point?
And now you're sitting here going, "Oh, I don't know about Lamar."
Maybe he learned his lesson.
No, but also
Wow.
you're trying to bait me into an
Wow.
argument. No, I'm
not
not
trying to
have
argue
right
about
now.
it. I'm trying
Yeah,
to point
you
out
are.
this.
Yeah, you
is-
are because how about this? There was
Is he
a difference.
growing up?
That's
Are you
what you're
growing
trying
up?
to get me to fucking say. No, it's that I'm not.
Are you
okay,
growing
to
up?
me-
Are you becoming
me,
mature?
I just don't think Lamar Jackson has hit those kind of heights, even though he's won an MVP.
Really?
Even though he's won an MVP.
How about
He's
I
a
give you-
great
Does he
runner.
only come on your tummy, not in your face?
See, that's what I'm saying. That's all you want to do as a passer. And his runs this year as a passer historically, Deshaun Watson is better than Lamar Jackson, and it hadn't been close.
Oh
Now
my God, you're
Lamar is
so
more
dumb.
dynamic. Lamar is more dynamic as a runner, but still, it's a different conversation to be had.
Deshaun popped
I'm
his
moving on.
cherry.
Nah, shut
You
up.
know
You're
what?
not
That's
gonna
what it
fucking drag
is.
me down.
Deshaun
No,
popped
we're
his
gonna
cherry,
go.
and
Nah,
now
we're going on to the
you
next
will
one.
give him a
Nah,
that.
We're going to the next one up. The next man up. It is rumored that the Chicago, who now own the number 1 overall pick, they might want to trade, or rather, they might be open to the idea of getting rid of Justin Fields in order to draft a Bryce Young or a CJ Stroud. So my question to you is this: what Ohio State quarterback would you rather trade for if you were mixed between these two options? Justin Fields, to trade from Chicago, you would have to trade something for Justin, or would you rather trade up in the draft to go and get a CJ Stroud, who's on
Whoever made this edit
class?
Whoever made this edit of CJ Stroud is really good.
Yeah.
Look
Yeah,
at how good
they're
this like. I mean, I
I
could
know,
kind of
look.
see. Like if I was just like on the dating game right now, that picture is pretty good.
Yeah, that dude. Every year, these.
What did I say in
Photoshops
this
are
live
better
in the
and better.
post game show? I said let's trade for Justin Fields right now. 9 for him. We get J.C. Horn and Justin Fields. That's all I gotta say.
We could trade J.C. Horn for Justin Fields, make it part of that deal.
G baby, are you G baby
Probably
now?
not.
You're Greg baby.
No, I wouldn't want to get rid of it. It'd just be funny because that was the guy that we wanted instead of J.C. Horn, blah blah.
But if you had to pick between these two, between trading for Justin Fields, and by the way, let's differentiate them. So Justin Fields has 2 years of wear and tear after being beaten up behind a terrible Chicago Bears offensive line. However, it's only his second year in the NFL, still a very young player with a very high ceiling, who is incredibly fast as a runner, can run away from you, probably runs a low 4.4, maybe a high 4.3. He's a prospect.
Bro, he runs and runs like the wind.
Dude, he's
way faster than was one of the faster running quarterbacks
Don't say his
in the
name.
NFL. Right?
Lamar.
Do not say his name. No, don't say the name of the person. Talking about the person who was sacred on this podcast.
Oh, no.
He would be fast.
He probably is faster than him. Yeah, he is though.
He would be. Imagine getting a better rushing quarterback than Cam.
Dude,
think about that. I mean, I know he's faster, but like he doesn't throw the ball.
Yeah,
he had 170. Like he would have like 170 yards rushing, bro. Remember, and then it would be like 8 yards passing.
Remember that the Bears have had not only one of the most terrible offensive lines in the NFL. They have literally no receiver help.
No receivers.
They have nobody. And by the way, like that's one of the things that people have been saying that if you would continue to put receivers around Justin Fields and actually give him some talent, then he might be able to take that next step. If you look at his passing highlights, Justin Fields has the arm. And I'll even say it right now. To me, Justin Fields has far more of a higher ceiling than CJ Stroud does. I just believe that. I believe he has a better frame.
I agree with that completely.
He's more mobile as a runner than CJ Stroud. So even though he's been beaten up a little bit, even though he's had some wear and tear, if I had to choose between trading for these two, I would pick Justin Fields over CJ Stroud.
Can I ask you something, Cody? You might know this. Has CJ Stroud ever been injured in college? Does he have an injury issue?
No, not that I know of. He's never missed a game as the starter for Ohio State.
Well, then based on that, I would go Stroud. Not because I don't like Justin Fields. I think Justin Fields, I agree with you. I think if you give Justin Fields wide receivers, when he had Olave and everybody, he was a much better passer. I think he has nobody in Chicago. I think if you give him wide receivers, he could be a good quarterback. But because he's already been injured in his rookie year, and that's the only thing I'm basing this on because I don't know enough about either one of these guys.
Not his rookie year, it's his second year.
Oh,
he didn't get injured to his second year.
But he didn't really play his rookie year much, did he?
He did, but it was not.
I think he did.
Yeah, he played. Yeah, he played. Okay. He played a good bit.
Well, either way, I know one guy's injured, one guy's. I haven't seen the guy get.
All right, so
that's the only thing I'm basing it off of right now because I think it's too close to be honest with you. I think you're looking at almost the same guy. To be honest with you.
Nah, I'm with Cody. I think that right now, I think that Fields showed just as much, if not more, in college than Stroud has. Right? Don't just suck on the tit of the last game that Stroud had, which was very, very good against the Bulldogs. Was very good. CJ Stroud did the most out of probably anybody in the college playoff to raise their stock back to where it was deserved. Because CJ Stroud was one of those names that was starting to fall behind, right? Like he was very much like Justin Fields. Think about this. Justin Fields at the beginning of his senior year was like the number 1 or number 2 prospect. And then by the end, you're talking about these other dudes ahead of them. Stroud, very similar. I think Stroud did a phenomenal job in that game against Georgia to raise his stock. But I would say this is like if we traded for Justin Fields, it would just be that 9 straight up.
You think so? You think the 9 straight up would get Justin Fields?
You know, it'd be a lot more expensive to trade up for fucking CJ Stroud at number 1.
That's true. I mean,
all I'm saying, I don't know.
Honestly, if that's what they said, if I give the 9 straight up for Justin Fields, I'd do that.
I would too.
That solves that for me. That's
we should have just straight up. And Cody, you don't have to say that in the private chat when I've been thinking it the whole time. No, we should have done that 2 years ago. Anyway, let's keep going with your who and this and that and that. Who would you take?
That's those.
Who would you
I would
take?
take Justin Fields. Justin Fields.
Stroud's not anywhere as a dynamic. He's nowhere close to a running
but
quarterback.
he has I think the question
he does
mark
throw
is
a pretty ball.
Yeah, that's the he might have been able to run and actually be successful in that game against Georgia, which by the way is a feat in and of itself if you look at how their defense is. But he's always been the passer, right? He's been athletic, but that's not what he's been touted as being a high draft prospect because of that. So it's hard to compare these guys because they're two separate types of players. Justin Fields has showed what he was drafted for, which is his athletic ability, where he does have some pretty throws. I think there's far more questions about his ability to be a quarterback as opposed to just a running quarterback who's able to exercise the RPO. I don't know, man. I don't even know if I would say between those two. There's so many. Like if you wanted to be that way, you might as well go Anthony Richardson. If you're wanting to talk about Justin Fields,
yeah, right. You gotta pick. You gotta pick one or the other.
CJ Stroud.
Okay. Nice. All right. The number is 252-228-5098, and it is late.